All right, let's now discuss this. We are now joined via Zoom by Gugu Xaba, Save the Children's Program Director. A pleasure having you with us here on SABC News. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon to everybody.
All right, let's talk about then the importance of including children in policy decision making. We heard from the youth in one of the previous clips, and they were lamenting the fact that they are not included in any of these discussions, and rightly so. You would imagine that decisions made about people, you would include those people that you're talking about.
Right. Yes, it's true that there's insufficient, if I can call it, involvement of the voices of children. Firstly, it is a right of a child to participate in anything that affects them, according to the laws that we've signed for as South Africa. Now, what has happened is that for the contributions of children for yesterday and today, children were consulted in all 9 provinces, and then their inputs were written.
Yeah.
A summary was created 7 days ago, and it has been submitted with the documents that have been submitted for the summit and for the attention of the president. Now, this basically contributes to the fact that we talk down to children. We don't talk with them and co-create programs with them. So it means we do have a gap in making sure that the president and all the ministers that are there get full attention of the children. The view was that this meeting right now has a lot of adults who are voicing most of the serious challenges in terms of GBV, and then it was a plan to protect children from some of the serious conversations. But now we need to create a good platform where it's only children consulting with the president before we make a final submission for the strategy for preventing and reducing violence against children and women.
All right, and as Save the Children, what would you like a government to know, when it comes to issues pertaining to the youth, to children? We obviously have some of the best policies. Some can even tell you that the legislation, when it comes to the protection of vulnerable groups such as children, that legislation is quite clear and quite tight and very direct. But when it comes to the issue of implementation of those particular policies, this is where we have a problem. I mean, we're now covering a story of a man who raped up to 89 women, well, those that he has actually agreed and actually confessed to. 89. We don't even know if the number could actually be more than that. So it seems that the implementation of protection of vulnerable groups of children is simply not there, even though we have the legislation.
And as Save the Children South Africa, what we're basically saying is that, yes, we've got the good policies, but then are we monitoring the implementation of these policies? I want to start on the part of making sure that children have a voice and they are heard by the adults that are around them, starting from the parents that are raising children, then going to community leadership and other leaders that are supporting and ensuring that children get their services, their rights are respected, and children are helped to be able to be resilient and achieve the best for their future. So it means the adults that are around children, and I want to emphasize, starting from parents, are currently, either some of them do not know how they should respond to the needs of children. But in many instances, when you look at local government, as they develop their integrated development plan, they do not consult with children, such that the needs of children are not attended to in IDP. The voice of children is not even available sufficiently in IDPs. So it means we need to start monitoring and demanding accountability, and Save the Children is working with municipalities to ensure that municipalities are accounting for services of children, and they are able to report back on the change that they have contributed. And if you look at the fact that we are still seeing so many people that are exploiting children and abusing children, it says at a community level, our ability to community police or provide security or safe environments for children is not working well. So we need to work at that level. Then we need to move on to justice. Justice needs to understand that as soon as there's a violation for children, we need to prevent the next occurrence. How do we prevent the next occurrence? Is by ensuring that the perpetrator who is there at that point, the case is handled timeously, and we are able to at least make sure that there's a law that says if you abuse a child, we are not letting you on bail until we finish the case and make the decision. So those are some of the things that must change. Communities, the justice system, and then from there, social development currently doesn't have sufficient staff. That is why we need NGOs to be funded and supported so that we can support the Department of Social Development, Education and Health, so that we strengthen the ability to respond when abuse has occurred.
And South Africa ranks very low in the Global Peace Index. We've just completed another campaign of 16 days of activism of no violence against women and children, looking at the fact that, you know, murder and rape of women and children remains stubbornly high. What is your view on, you know, the anti-sexual and gender violence awareness campaigns like the 16 days of campaign? These are supposed to help, but it seems that, you know, that they aren't really breaking much ground. There's also, and I'll be critical to organizations like yourselves, there are many, you know, of these sort of organizations, Save the Children, there are women organizations who try to help, but it seems that, you know, we're not making any headway. Every other day we're talking about, you know, the rape and murder of women and children.
I agree with you 100%. That is why I emphasize the need for a change in the way we do things as parents, because yes, government has a role to play. Non-governmental organizations have a role to play, but the best people who can change the value system of this country is the parents, is the communities. Let me give you an example. The fact that as a country, people still believe they need to kill a child in order to enrich themselves. That says our value system as a country is wrong. So until communities change the way they believe and ensure that the values of each family is connecting to the other, and we all are saying no to violence, and we are saying for communities to develop, we need to work for it. One, we need to make sure that our children are educated properly. They can be able to go to school, they can start businesses, they can get employed. We can have other means of livelihood so that eventually there's proper development. We can close the inequality gap. But right now, at times, there is a mentality of being given things which leads us to not understanding that nothing is going to come easy until we work for it, including changing the moral fiber of society. It means we need to work for it with government and other non-governmental organizations. Right now, we see parents that are not even coming at times when they are asked to come in order to work on reducing violence that is meted on children. So it says society is not yet clear on the size of this problem.
All right, Gugu, thank you very much for giving us your time, ma'am. Gugu Xaba from Save the Children's program. She's the program director there.